Here in Psalm 19, we have a wonderful psalm of praise to God. It begins by praising God for his greatness, majesty in creation. But then from verse 7, it moves on to a different theme, praising God for his greatness in his word, in his truths. Get that wonderful expression there about the law of the Lord being perfect. And it says, refreshing the soul. That's a great little truth to hold on to, isn't it? God's word, that's what God's law is, it can refresh our souls. If only we'll let God's word speak to us. The problem so often, I think, when it comes to his word, the Bible, is that we're reading it in a rush. We're just trying to grab a little snippet of it, and we don't allow the goodness of it to really deeply affect our lives. Many of us read God's word and we wonder why it's not giving us the strength and the help that we feel it should. Well, perhaps it's because we're not giving it due care. We're not giving it the time that it deserves. We're not giving it the real reverence. You know, when we get God's word out each day, as we should, it's our lifeline, isn't it? That this is God's amazing love letter that's written to us for our good, for our help, for our benefit. And he doesn't want us to neglect it because he knows how much good it'll do us. And for God's word to really refresh us, then we need to take it in. We need to understand it. We need to meditate on it. We need to reflect on it so that we can get the true benefit from it. How have you been treating God's word recently? With the respect and with the reverence, with the praise that the psalmist gives it here? He finds incredible help and blessing in it, and he's commending it to us. He goes on in verse 11 and he says, but by keeping God's word, by obeying his truths, there is great reward. How unusual that that's the opposite of what so many people in the world think. That if we have to obey God's word and live by his standards, that's like chains around us and it limits us in so many ways. Nothing could be further from the truth. In obeying God, there's freedom. In obeying God, it's where we find true contentment and peace for our lives. Let's make sure, though, that we're giving God's word the time it deserves so that it can refresh every single part of us.